Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for hopping on tonight for our call. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I want to just mention a few updates. Our October promotions for the challenge packs, same exact thing as September, and I believe this is going to be the last month that they're going to do this. So definitely take advantage of it because it's a ton of deals. And then also this month they're doing top 10 challenge pack sellers win an Apple Watch. I know a lot of people think that's totally out of reach for them, but you never know. Work for it and you totally can get it. And then the last one is the Core de Force. Who tried that yesterday? I definitely did. It was so fun. I've been doing yoga the past 3 weeks though, so I wasn't sure if I just loved it because it was something different than yoga because I hate yoga. But I loved it. It was so fun, only 30 minutes. And that comes out October 31st. So keep that in mind for people, your future people for it. And if you promoted it yesterday, definitely keep them in the loop for it as well. And that is all I have for updates. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jessica Kennedy as our guest speaker. She's going to go ahead and tell her story, but I'm just going to give a few things about her. She's a 3-star in her first business center, 1-star in her second business center, Success Club All-Star. She's been in the business for 4 years, and she has a hubby of 9 years and a mom of 3 kids. Plus, she's got one on the way this month. She just told us she is due October 29th, which is very cool. She can go any day now. And I'm just going to turn it over to her, let her share her story, and talk to us about the power of consistency.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I super appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here. I was a teacher before I retired to do Beachbody, so I have a little slideshow presentation because that's kind of how I roll, so I hope that's okay. I'm going to share my screen, and let's see. This always just takes a minute and kind of stresses me out, so just give me a second. Okay, can you guys see it? Can you give me a thumbs up? Awesome. Okay, so what I wanted to talk with you guys about, Ashley and I, we chatted a bunch about like what I should present on, and I kind of just put together a hodgepodge of like what my top tips are for this business, just from my experience, because I always find it so valuable to hear other coaches' experiences and what's worked for them. And so really the theme that I kept feeling running through when I was thinking of like, what are these tips I can give Ashley's team is consistency. And so I've got 8 tips for you today, and I'm going to start off by telling my story, and then I'm going to leave some time for questions because I promise I'm super approachable, and I would love to answer any questions that you might have. So first of all, I just want to tell you a little bit about me, just so you can kind of see my story and where I came from in this business journey and in my personal journey. So like Ashley said, I'm a wife to my husband. It'll be 9 years on the 13th this month, actually. And I'm a mom of 3, a 7-year-old boy, 5-year-old girl, 2.5-year-old girl, and another girl coming this month. So lots of estrogen in our house. My poor son was a little disappointed not to get a little brother. But so I've got 4, I will be having 4 kids ages 7 and under. So our house is busy and chaotic. So I'm definitely living proof that you can do this job while wrangling little ones at home. It's not easy, but it's doable. I'm a former teacher, so I have absolutely no background in business or in health or fitness. I actually taught English for high school and then college English for 12 years. And then I taught and did Beachbody for about probably a year and a half. And then I was able to retire just to do Beachbody full time. So I've been doing Beachbody for 4 years, and I'll kind of tell you my story. Like Ashley said, I'm a 3-star in one business center and a 1-star in my second business center, which is kind of an odd way to build, but it's worked really well income-wise, because this past year I did hit the 6-figure mark in my business, which was a huge goal. When I first started, all I wanted was $100 a week for grocery money for my family. And then eventually my goal was to out earn my teaching income or to match it so that I could quit teaching. And so I have had a lot of success, but it has not come quickly. It's definitely been something I've had to wait for. And a Success Club All-Star, I wish I was a legend, but I always seem to miss it by like a month and then have to start all over. So let me tell you a little bit about like where I came from and what my journey with Beachbody has been like. And I don't want to talk too long about this because it's like my favorite part. So I'll keep an eye on the time. But I live in Madison, Wisconsin. You guys are in New York, right, Ashley? Okay. Well, your team's probably all over. But so I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. And think back 4 years ago. It was 4 years in June when my journey with this business started. And I had just had my second child, who is the long-haired little girl here, Reese. And I was home with her and my son, who was 2. So I had a 2-year-old and an infant. And I was teaching night classes at the college here in town because I really was burnt out. I have a passion for teaching, but I was really burnt out trying to juggle teaching high school full time and being a mom. And so I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to teach part-time at the college, and it's going to be the perfect balance for me, right? But what ended up happening is my husband would get home from work at 5, and I would turn around and hand him the baby, and I would go to work until like 9. And then I would come home and I would grade, and then I would be up with the baby, and then the cycle would start all over again. So you can imagine like how tired I was. When I said I was tired, I was like, I don't know, lower than low. I was so exhausted. About 8 months after I had my daughter, I was still wearing maternity clothes to go teach in at night because I couldn't fit into any of my pre-pregnancy clothes. I hadn't worked out in like, I don't know, 2 years probably, like legit 2 years, other than like walking with a stroller. I wasn't paying any attention to what I ate. I was struggling to, like, I wouldn't even make lunch. I would just eat leftovers off my kids' plate. Like, I was struggling to do anything for myself because I thought it was selfish, right, to take time or money for myself. Meanwhile, I was struggling with postpartum depression, which I had not experienced with my first kid. So I was really kind of in denial about that I just thought I could work through it on my own, right? Or that it was just normal baby blues. And so I was really sad. Therefore, not a very good wife, not very kind to myself, not a very good friend. You can imagine, I was just really in a dark place. And then my husband and I, when our son was like 15 months old, we'd experienced a house fire, and we had to move into a hotel for 4 months. So we put everything on a credit card while we were waiting for insurance to pay us back. And so we had like $23,000 in credit card debt. And we're like both educated people with master's degrees, and we were broke, like super broke. So I would take my 2 kids to the grocery store, and my debit card wouldn't clear. And so then I would have to go home without my groceries. And it was just bad. When I say things were bad, they were bad. So that's where I was at. And my friend, Amanda, who's my upline coach, her upline coach is Melissa McAllister. So I guess Melissa's my grandma, if you're familiar with her at all. She had been doing Beachbody. She was a college friend, my friend Amanda, and I just kind of blocked and ignored her on Facebook. Like, I didn't get what she was doing, and she'd invite me, and I was like, I don't really understand what this is. And I think it brought up a lot of insecurities about where I was in my life. So I'm definitely living proof that don't give up on someone because they say no or ignore you, because she approached me many times and I ignored her. But finally one day she was like, must just caught me at the right time. And she's like, I want you to do this insanity challenge with me. And I was like, okay. And so when I started 4 years ago, there were no $140 challenge packs. You shell out $219 for this insanity challenge pack, right? And so I didn't have $219. I don't know what I was thinking. Probably put it on my credit card along with all this other debt we had. But I was like, she just got me on the right day. And I was like, no, things can't get any worse. I'm just going to do this. So I did it. And I did. If you guys have done any insanity people out there, well, it's insane. I mean, it's super hard. So the first day was, I threw up with the fit test, because I thought it was just a test. And it was like the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. I wanted to cry. I did cry. I was like, I'm going to quit. Amanda's like, you can't quit. You keep doing this. So she led me through 60 days of this challenge. Bless her heart, 60-day group. And we did insanity, and I ate what she told me to eat. There were no containers. She's like, eat this. I was, okay. Drink this shake you can't afford. Okay. So I did it, and I lost 17 pounds by the end of the challenge. But the part that was so amazing, guys, was just the confidence that I gained. Like, it was just incredible to be able to finally get out of those maternity clothes and to get back in my normal jeans and to connect with this group of women. You know, I started staying home with my kids, but teaching at night, and I had like no social network because I didn't know anybody else who stayed at home. And just, I went and got help for the depression that I was struggling with because I was finally had enough energy to like do something for me. So to say that this was like a life-changing experience, I know it sounds cliche, but this challenge group, guys, literally changed my family's life forever. So after that, my husband's coworkers, a couple of his coworkers, like, what is your wife doing? What's this insanity thing? And I was like, well, we could use the money. So we have all this credit card debt, and we're really struggling to make ends meet because we just had mismanaged our money, basically. And so I was like, well, I might as well just give this a shot. So I signed up to be a coach, and fast forward now 4 years, I've built a business. I'm team on the run is what I call my ladies. There's probably a couple dudes in there, but mostly women. And since doing insanity, I kept the weight off. Besides now having 2 more children, and I have run several half marathons and 1 marathon. And so lots of runners on my team, and that's kind of where it kind of came about. And what can I even say? We paid off all our credit card debt in 18 months, and we closed our home in March of this year. So we've been here just a few months, I guess, now, and upgraded, like tripled the size of our house, which we needed because we had a new baby on the way. Surprise. And it's incredible. I was able to retire from teaching. We've paid off our debt, but more than anything, just to help my team and other women who were struggling so much as me, like just turn their lives around. It's been just an incredible experience. So physical transformation, emotional, financial. I know I sound like an infomercial, but it's true. This is my life. So that is my Beachbody story. And I hope I didn't ramble too long. I was trying to keep an eye on the time, but it really has truly changed my life because I finally said yes to Amanda's business opportunity and just to take control and do something for myself. So that's my story. And I'm going to get into my 8 tips for success and kind of try to tie them all into being consistent, because obviously, I just feel like this journey it's a roller coaster. And the only thing I can say that I have consistently done well is be consistent. So I'm going to talk to you guys about it. Okay. My first tip for building a good business, a solid business, is to be confident. I feel like when I started, some at times my new coaches will ask me, like, what is the one thing that you wish you'd known when you started? I don't know if you've ever asked a coach that, and not that I'm an expert, but I've been doing this 4 years, long enough to know what I would do differently. And I would have spent a lot less time caring what people thought. I feel like new coaches are often really scared of judgment and failure. And I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer, but you need to accept that you're going to lose some friends and some followers. It's just, I see Ashley nodding her head. It's true. And I always tell my team, some will, some won't. So what? Someone is waiting. And it's the truth. I ignored my good friend Amanda's posts for a long time before I was finally ready. And you know what? She probably had some haters out there too. And I know I have, but it's taken me a lot of personal development and working on myself to realize that the issue that people have with you and your social media presence, or the fact you're in an MLM or whatever it may be, that's their thing. That's not your thing. So don't waste your energy being worried about it. Be confident. Stop taking no as a personal attack. And I, again, spent a long time feeling like no, or people ignoring me or not getting back to me was like some sort of reflection on what they thought of me as a person. And realistically, they're probably just busy. and I didn't need to stress out about it so much. So if you haven't read Go for No, read Go for No, because that's a good one. Stop taking no as a personal attack. A lot of times people are busy, and Facebook Messenger is hard to keep track of, and their response to your message is not their top priority. It's not that they don't like you. And if they don't like you, who cares? Someone else does. So remember that you're offering a gift. And I tell my team this, and I really truly believe this, guys. What my coach offered me with this insanity challenge, and then with the opportunity to build a business, it was a gift that has changed my life forever. And you have the power to offer someone else that gift. And the worst that they're going to say is no. So you need to be confident and own it. Even if you've only been a coach for a week, it's changed your life somehow, or you wouldn't be here. My next tip with consistency and consistency in your confidence is don't constantly give things away for free. Now, I'm not saying don't run free groups, okay? I run a free group every month, typically, or a low-cost group, which you can feel free to ask me questions about. And I give tips away on Facebook, but I'm saying don't let everybody and their sister who bought their program off Amazon or from a garage sale into your group over and over and over again, because it devalues what you're doing. And you as a businesswoman, this is your business. And if you want people to treat it as such, you need to the sooner you can draw a hard line in the sand about that, the better. And that's just my advice. Other coaches might tell you differently, but I had to do a lot of backpedaling for letting people use my discount, or lending them DVDs because I was so nice, or letting them in my group over and over and over again with their bootleg DVDs. No, it's your business. And it's okay to be confident in that. You invested in yourself, so you can ask someone to do the same. And I am going to talk more about personal development, but I really, really encourage you guys to do personal development to get yourself in a fierce mindset that you have a gift to offer others. So You Are a Badass is a good one if you haven't read that one. Girl Boss is another good one. There's lots. Those are the two that pop in my head that are good for confidence. My next tip for you, and this ties into consistency, to do this consistently, is to be an ambitious student. This is your business, so you need to learn it. Trina Gray, I don't know if you guys have ever heard Trina Gray speak, but she's amazing. And she did a call for my team. And she said, don't be an asshole. And that has stood out in my mind for a long time. Don't stop asking your upline questions that you can find the answers to in the FAQ. You're wasting her time and your time. You need to take this business on with enthusiasm and curiosity and desire to know. Do our program, try our products, practice what you preach, and I think really soak up information like a sponge from those who are doing well in the business. Don't ever miss a national wake-up call. I think it's really, really important, to try Core de Force when it came out. And if you want to know when it launches and what the price point's going to be and how many minutes long it's going to be, look at the FAQs. That's not Ashley's job to do that for you, okay? And I think that when I finally started taking ownership of my business consistently, it grew. And so I think that that's really something that's important to remember, is that you have the power to learn. That online office is an incredible wealth of information, as frustrating as it sometimes is to navigate. There's so much good information in there. And there's YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video. You have a question about placement, look it up. Get to know this business and be confident in it, because it will make all the difference for you. My next tip, and this is the second thing I wish I had done differently when I started this business, is I didn't do personal development probably for a good year. It took me about a year to go diamond. And I finally did, but I definitely wasn't earning a ton. I wasn't confident in my business. And then I was like, oh, maybe these national wake-up calls, I should maybe listen to them. I didn't think I had time, right? I have 3 small children at home, probably at this point. So doing personal development, doing it every damn day, excuse me if there's any little kids here, sorry, every day, without fail. You do have time. And I think that that is the consistent behavior that will constantly move you forward. Find a method that works for you. I hear coaches complain like, I can't read a book, I'll fall asleep. Then listen. Listen to audio. I can't do audio because I don't pay attention. Read a book. I don't know what to tell you. Like, get the workbook. Figure out, experiment, figure out ways that will keep you engaged. And don't make excuses. Figure it out. Find a topic that speaks to you. It's okay, guys, to abandon a book that's not speaking to you. Find something that does. Reread the same book. I listened to The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy not that long ago. I don't know if you guys have read that one, but he wrote The Compound Effect too. But The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster is so good. And at the end, he challenges us to listen to the book 6 times. Like 6 times? I ain't got time for that. And I haven't listened to it 6 times. But I will go back and listen to it again. Or if you listen to it, then maybe read it. If you read it, maybe listen to it. Or grab the workbook version if there is one. Why? Because he said sometimes we can just be serial consumers of information. Like we read this book and we're so charged up and excited about it. And then we move on to the next thing and we didn't really apply anything from the book. We just listened, right? And so he's like, reread the same book rather than reading 6 books and doing nothing that you learned. I was like, that's good advice. So I think it's okay to reread the same book because when you're in a different place in your business, you're going to get something different from it. My team likes to team up with a buddy to hold each other accountable. And so sometimes we'll do a team book, but sometimes like I had a coach on my team who was like, do you want to read The Miracle Morning with me? And this was a couple months ago. And I was like, sure. And so we read it and held each other accountable and kind of like, how far are you? We'd like text each other. And I didn't want to admit to her, like if I hadn't started it, so that helped me make the time because I knew someone was expecting me to do it. And never miss a national wake-up call. I never listen to them live because I always have small kids underfoot, but I always listen to the recordings. And if you're not one that's implemented a lot of personal development, that is where I started. I listened to all the archived calls. And you'll always feel inspired and charged up. But I really do believe that consistency with personal development, when I feel that my business is stagnant or I feel frustrated or I feel like I'm losing confidence, a lot of times I need to do a really good look at how consistent I'm being with my personal development. And almost always that is my answer. If I'm inconsistent with it, my business suffers. So this is the one that the vital behavior I think a lot of coaches ignore. And I really encourage you to do it. I know you've heard this 100 times, guys. I'm not saying anything that's new, but consistency in your brand, I think, is really important. And you guys have probably done plenty of social media training. So wherever you are marketing yourself, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or your like page or Pinterest or maybe more than one place, I think it's really important to find your unique brand and to own it and own it consistently. Yes, you should follow top coaches. Remember, I told you to soak in all the information that you could, but be you. At some point, after my first or second summit, I unfollowed a bunch of coaches. And it wasn't because they're not fabulous and inspiring, but it was because it was really distracting to me. I needed to put my blinders on. Yes, I need to learn from them, but not imitate them. And there's a difference. I want you to think about what makes you unique in your fitness journey, but also outside of your fitness journey too. And you guys, again, I've probably heard this before, but I just think consistency with your brand represents the challengers and coaches you're trying to attract. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks. Worry about what the people like you think, because they're the ones who want your help. So I think I'm going to go into social media presence here in a minute, but I think one thing that's super, super important when it comes to your brand is to consistently represent yourself on social media with unique interests or qualities about you that aren't just like every other coach, that aren't just Shakeology, that aren't just that you really like Energize, that aren't just that you really like the 21-day fix and you can give a lot of cool recipes from the containers. I mean, that's cool, but you've got to brainstorm and think about 5 unique interests or qualities about you right now and present them consistently. So in a second, I'm going to give you guys time to actually jot stuff down. And again, you may have done this before, but I think it's always important to revisit what are you putting out there for the world to see. So I know part of my brand, for example, is when I'm not 9 months pregnant, I'm a runner, okay? I'm a busy mom of small children. I really like wine. Man, I miss wine. Okay, so that would be something that I am posting about, because I do. I would say that cooking for a large family is definitely part of my brand. Like I'll talk about meal planning. I'll talk about grocery shopping. I talk along with wine. I talk about coffee. Clearly I have some issues here. I like wine and coffee a lot, but those are like survival mechanisms for me, right? Crafting is not part of my unique interests, but I have a couple coaches on my team who are like super crafty, like DIYers. Yeah, if that's do-it-yourselfers. Yeah, they're always doing like really cool projects. I've got some coaches on my team who are triathletes, or one who has adopted children because she's battled infertility. That's part of her brand. Maybe you're a dog mom. Maybe I've got one coach on my team who's a super adventurous and always traveling, like Amy Silverman. Like she's just all over the place. And that's part of her brand. She doesn't just post about 21 Day Fix because nobody cares. So what I want you to think about are 5 unique interests or qualities about you outside just a Beachbody. And I want you to write them down right now. And I want you to think about how consistently you're presenting these to your followers. Okay, so I'm going to give you just like 30 seconds. You don't have to share, just to jot them down. So I really challenge you guys, if you haven't come up with your 5, you've got time to think about it, or ask a teammate, because a lot of times people can see it in you. Maybe you're really funny. Maybe humor is part of your brand. I don't know. But sometimes people can see in you what you can't see in yourself. But I want you to think about these five or more pillars that define you as a person. And I think if you guys listen to Michelle Meyer's wake up call from yesterday, I listened to it today, and she said, and it just like struck me, and it ties right into this. If Beachbody were to disappear tomorrow, what unique qualities do you have to offer your challengers and coaches outside of their products, outside of Beachbody products? What makes you you? And so I think that, wow, I mean, that's really something to think about. And how consistent are you with your brand? Is it clear to anybody who stops by your social media? Okay. So I'm only going to touch a little bit on social media because, again, you guys have access to all sorts of trainings, and Ashley probably has told you like vast wealth of things about social media. But I really think consistency on social media has been a huge factor for the success in my business. Post. I want you to post every day. Coaches may say different things on this. Melissa McAllister, my upline, always says 2 to 4 times a day. And usually only 1 is fitness, food, or coaching related. Now, if you're talking about Snapchat or Instagram, go crazy, okay? That's different. I'm talking like if you're talking about Facebook, tone it down a little for your personal page. Don't have to have like 7 posts that are all fitness related. And you guys know this. I mean, it burns people out. They're not interested. But I think, yes, you need to be posting every day. A lot of times I see coaches on my team who are very frustrated because they put out a challenge group invite, for example, and they don't get much traction. But then they have to look long and hard, like how often are they really posting on social media? If they're only posting that one challenge group invite at noon on a Tuesday and have it posted for 4 days before that, they're not going to get any traction. Nobody cares. Nobody sees it. Facebook gods aren't showing them to everybody. So it's really important to keep consistent with your presence. Again, on Instagram, it's different. You could post multiple times a day, fitnessy, but make sure that your brand is coming through in your hashtags relating to other things besides fitness. Melissa always told me, ask yourself, so what, before you post. And I think that that's a really important thing to think about. You got your Shakeology, you're in your car, you're driving, drop your kids off at school, and so you snap a selfie. But you and 50 other coaches are posting a Shakeology selfie of them dropping their kids off at school. So what are you going to say that makes your post different? So what? Why is someone going to stop and read it? Add value. Rather than just post to post. I'd rather see a coach post 2 times a day and have them be really good posts than 7 times a day and have them be like, me with my shaker, me with my 21-day fix containers, and that's all it ever is. Consistently add new contacts on social media, guys. If you are talking to the same 200 people, then you burn through that market. So every single day, yes, every single day, you should be adding new contacts to social media. So if you work mostly from your Facebook personal page, you should be friend requesting, 2 to 5 people a day, I think. If you work more from Instagram, I don't know where you guys, I don't know, every team is different and every coach is a little bit different, but you should be adding new contacts every day. I always say be interesting, but also interested on social media. So the time to give away things for free, like recipes or inspiration or fit tips or a fitness video or a do-it-yourself project, that's the time to give things away for free, is to be interesting, but also be interested. People love to engage on social media. People love to answer questions about themselves. And if you can ask a question or post something that asks for input or involvement from your audience, and you can get a ton of posts in the comments, then within 12 hours is your time to post a challenge group invite, okay? So I always think it's really, really important. If you've got a high traction post, then is your time to post something related to your business right afterwards. But be interested in people. They like to interact on social media. That's the whole point. Keep telling your story. Remember, I know that it gets hard, guys, to keep telling your story over and over and over again, but the consistency in that is really powerful. And even if you're just picking a different part of your story, or you're retelling part of your story, but with different pictures, just don't forget the power of the transformation posts. So Transformation Tuesday, Throwback Thursday. I really think it's important. Not everybody has heard your story, and the person who really needs to hear it is waiting for you to tell it. And the people who love you don't care if they've heard it 100 times. So I think it's really important to be weaving in your story into your social media presence, whichever social media platform you're doing. You need to be weaving your story in every week. All right, I don't want to talk too much about social media because you guys, like I said, may be very well versed. I think it's important with consistency to think about, to remember that success is not convenient. Life is going to happen, and there's always going to be a reason you could choose to not show up. Always. But I like to think of, like, what if you didn't show up to any other job? You wouldn't make money. You would be fired. You wouldn't be able to keep it. So you need to treat your business with the same respect. I will say that before I was making 6 figures in this business, I treated it like $1 million business from day one. And your business deserves that respect, and your business deserves that time. And even when it's not convenient, that's okay. You need to show up. Don't jump ship or lose momentum when success is not instantaneous. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay. And I know that, again, that sounds cliche, but I've run a marathon, and I'm here to tell you, you can't just show up the day of a marathon and run it and expect to do well. You're going to crash and burn. It's going to be miserable. You're not going to be able to run the whole thing. You're going to get injured and you're going to hate it, right? It's the same thing with this business. Like, you can't just show up one day a week and expect to have good results. You need to show up every day and put in the training and put in the time, okay? Power hours are non-negotiable, always, every day. Sometimes you end up working in power pockets. Like, I know when I was teaching, I was working in 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. It's hard. It's hard if you're juggling a lot of balls in there. If you have a family or you work another job, it's really hard to fit in a straight hour of work. And a lot of times it's the last thing we want to do. But I promise you, if you sacrifice now, it's going to be worth it in the long run. So making the time, making it a non-negotiable. You're training for that marathon. You can't skip your 20-mile run. You can't. You just can't. You have to do it. You have to make the time for it. It's the same thing with this. I always say to my success partner and I, every day we message each other our top 3 musts for the day. Sometimes I'm not going to bring your A game. There's always going to be stuff at the end of the day left on your list. That's part of working your own business. Is like, I've got this huge whiteboard I can show you in my office here. It's full of stuff. I mean, I'm not going to get through all that today. There's no way, but I have 3 musts that I must get through today to move my business forward. One of them is to be on the call with you because you guys are a priority, right? So I messaged my success club partner. I have to talk on Ashley's call tonight. And I have to get my team the October calendar. And I think my other one was that I have to do follow-ups with my group that's starting on the 10th. Now, anything else that get done on top of that is just gravy, right? And I'm not talking about the 4 vitals. That's a must too, but I'm talking about anything else I can do. But some of that is just going to have to go. And sometimes you're not going to bring your A game. When I have this baby this month, pretty sure I'm not going to be bringing my A game for a couple of weeks afterwards. Like, I know I won't be, right? But I'm also pretty sure that I'm going to show up because people are going to want to see that baby on social media, right? And I can still be present. It might just be my C game. But I promise you guys that if you let your foot off the gas, you're rebuilding this business every single time you take a break and start over again. You have to just keep swimming. Eat your frogs first. If you haven't read Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, his philosophy is basically like if you do the thing that you don't want to do and do it first. And if you've got multiple things you don't want to do, eat the biggest and ugliest frog first. So for me, I really, really detest follow-ups. I don't know what it is about it. I don't like them. They take a lot of time and a lot of mental energy. And so how do I start my day? I follow up with people because I don't want to do it. You know, it's like, and then I've got it done and it feels really good. So that's a must every day for me. It's my follow-ups, and I eat my frog first and do them, because the thing I love is posting on social media and interacting in my groups. Well, if I start my day with that every day, I could waste an hour just doing that and never get to those follow-ups and then be frustrated that my business isn't moving forward. I promise you, I'm going to end on an uplifting note, because now I'm just going to scare you with this slide. I'm not trying to scare you. If there's one thing I've learned, and I'm sure that Ashley can agree with me on this, is that there's going to be a point in this business that you're probably going to want to quit, and you're going to wonder if you're really what you're doing and if this is really for you, and if your hard work, your consistency every day is paying off, because you know you've been working this business for a year and you're still making $50 a week and struggling to hit diamonds. And you know, I've been there, and I can just tell you that I think all coaches face that at some point in time. And this business is not difficult, as in like the 4 vitals really aren't hard. We're not, doing brain surgery. It's not hard to listen to personal development, drink a shake, and work out and post about it on social media and invite people. But it's hard emotionally sometimes. It's a roller coaster. And a lot of times you're working from, home, and it's kind of isolating, and you get caught in the comparison game of seeing what other coaches are doing. And that can be frustrating. So it's not difficult, but it can be emotionally taxing. And I will tell you, it'll break your heart. It broke my heart over the weekend. I had a coach who I thought for sure was going to be pushing to diamond, and she's quitting. And it's not right. It's not right for her. And that's okay. But I had to bless and release that, because just because I love her and I want it to be right for her does not mean it's right for her. And I have to let that go. There are highs and lows, and the highs are really high. Walking across stage, earning your first $1,000 paycheck, when a challenger messages you and thanks you for helping change their life, those are high highs. But the lows can be low too. Losing rank, losing coaches, getting frustrated by all the no's and the non-responses. It's the same as your fitness journey. You gain weight, you lose weight. Definitely, it's a roller coaster. And if there's anything I can give you for advice, it's that you have to learn to love the grind. And what do I mean by that? I mean that a lot of this job is not glamorous. In between those highs and lows comes the grind, the daily inviting, following up, posting on social media, doing the 4 vitals, doing your power hour. But that's where the magic happens, right? And if you're starting to feel burnt out, or that you're like questioning whether this is right for you, just try a new approach and keep it fresh. If you are serious about being a career coach in this business, and maybe you're not, maybe you don't want to be a career coach, and that's okay too, but you love it as a hobby. Either way, you've got to keep trying fresh new approaches. You've got to keep evolving. So maybe you need to try a new form of social media, or maybe you need to try a new way of eating, or maybe you need to try a new workout. Maybe you need to train for a race. Maybe you need to get some new pictures taken, and I don't know, launch a website. There's lots of different things you can do to try new approaches and stay fresh with your business. Don't feel stuck and stagnant. And I think I just want to re-emphasize, you need to remember your why, and it needs to make you cry. And that is why you keep pushing. When things are crappy in this business, just the consistency of showing up with that grinding away, because your why is worth it. And my last bit of advice for you is, again, you've probably heard this 100 times, but I'm going to tell you again, dream big. The only difference between you and a top 10 coach is time and consistency. The only difference between you and me is that I've been doing this for 4 years, and maybe you've been doing this for 4 months. And it's just time and consistency. If you put in the time and you're patient and you keep showing up every day, you will succeed in this business. There's no way you won't if you want it and it's right for you. Dare to dream big. Share those dreams with others. Write them down. Share them with your family. Share them with your spouse. Share them with a success partner, with your coach, with Ashley. Post them where you can see them, and believe in those dreams, even when others are naysayers. Okay, you're going to lose your confidence. You're going to have people hate. Life's going to get in the way. But those dreams are why you started, and you can't lose sight of that. Don't let your foot off the gas, because you are worth it. And if you give up and say, oh, well, I'm just going to take a little break and I'll come back to this, or I don't know if this is right for me, maybe I'm just going to think about it because this is really hard and I've been doing it for a while and things aren't coming together. You are worth it, and you don't want to sell your dreams short. If you feel in your heart of hearts that this business is right for you and you have a passion for helping people, and you want to see your dreams come to reality, I promise you just need to keep pushing. It's just time. So that is my spiel, and I hope that helped. Let's see. I will unscreen share. And I would love to take questions if you guys have any. Don't be shy.
Yeah, those were awesome tips. The one thing I wanted to mention too, that I love that you mentioned when you were sharing your story, that you blocked and ignored your coach for the longest time, because I know a lot of my coaches are scared when that happens and they just completely just shut off from those people. But I always encourage them to keep in contact with those people. just build that relationship up, because I've had people tell me no for 2 years straight, and now they're some of my best coaches.
Right.
You know, you never know. So I love that you mentioned that. The only question that I really had was, you mentioned something about low cost groups.
Yeah. Like a Shakeology sampler group.
Okay.
Would be an example. So, I mean, what's like $35 to join?
Yeah.
I found that can tend to be, if you run those consistently, a nice way for people to, it's like low cost, it's not scary, right? Mm-hmm. They're willing to invest $35 in themselves, but they're afraid to buy a challenge pack. So
that's very true.
I find that helps. And sometimes it can separate out the people who just always want to mooch off a free group from the, you can kind of get the people who are ready for the next step but aren't quite ready to commit to a challenge pack. So
right, yeah.
So, and I have, with my likes page in the past, I have done, like, to gain contacts, I've done a freemium, which wasn't really a freemium, but I've done like okay, my pregnant brain's like delirious, to sell like a meal plan, right? So you can put together a documented meal plan, and it can cost like $5 or $10, like a small ebook, and people could sign up with a Google Doc and pay you via PayPal, and you give them this, and you friend them then. And again, that's a low cost way to get engagement, to gain contacts. If people aren't going to invest $5 in a meal plan, they're probably not going to buy a challenge pack, but it could be a good way to gather contacts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
We have Nicole who put in the chat, how do you promote / offer the low cost groups? I've been wanting to try that, just don't know how to go about it.
Okay. Let's see. My team we're going to do a 7-day Shakeology group. And so we're going to do one this month. We did one last month. I'm looking at my calendar. So I found my best engagement was, I did a couple different things, and I can share this with Ashley. I can share the graphic. But I promoted it with a graphic on Facebook where I put together just a whole bunch of selfies of me drinking Shakeology, because of course I'm posting them, right? And then I just talked about how I can keep a screenshot of the post, but just that I've been drinking it for the last 4 years and why I love it, and invite people to join. And then I followed up a few days later with a live video where I took them into my pantry and showed them my shakes, and I talked with them about, just genuinely, like, was totally me, like why I drink them, which flavors my people in my family love. And then I grabbed, and I can show you guys, hold on. Okay, so then I showed them, I opened my box from Amazon, and I showed them, if they buy the 7-day Shakeology sampler pack, I sent them in the mail like a fun little shaker cup, and then inside it I put little goodies. So I put like some dark chocolate and let's see. Sorry guys, I'm totally a spaz. I'm like in here showing you some little peanut butter packets. I don't know if you can see them, the Justin's ones. Can you see that? Maybe not.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like a tea bag, a couple tea bags, my favorite teas, and then like a little Energize sample, right? So I just stuffed it in the shaker cup, and I sent it in the mail as their gift. Now, okay, be honest, I didn't make anything money-wise, right? Because my 30% or my 25% commission off a $30 sale, and then I put together this little challenge, this little thank you gift. But what I did do is I made a personal connection. And so I put a little handwritten card like, thank you, I can't wait for you to be a part of my group. And I gave like my favorite recipe, and I shot it off in the mail to them. So in my live video, I'm rambling now, but I just took them to my pantry, talked to them about Shakeology, why I love it, said I'm going to run this 7-day group, and then if they join with the Shakeology sampler pack, I'm going to send them this free gift. And I didn't make any money, but I always get like at least one Shakeology HD sale off of it. So it's cool. It's a cool way to build connections with people. And you can ask them to tag a friend who might want to try it. But I found my live video that works the best as far as getting people to sign up. But and a graphic that includes you rather than just pictures of your shake. So I'm like huffing and puffing, but I was really excited about my group. And then in our group, I ran it. So every morning we did recipe, and then we did like a food tip, or not a food tip, a superfood tip in the afternoon, and then like a clean eating recipe in the evening. And we had a little challenge, like they got points, and I can send this all to you. They got points for participating, and we just try to make it super, super fun and basically give them like the VIP experience so that hopefully they would want to come back for more challenge groups. So we gave them a lot of value for $30.
Yeah, I love the idea that you send them your own little personalized gift.
Right.
I love
and
it.
It started because before they had the sampler pack,
Did I freeze?
No, not you.
Jessica froze.
yeah, right, but you can still send them a little incentive gift. And they really like that personal touch, and they basically get a lot for their money. So yeah. That was a lot. That was a lot of rambling. I'm sorry.
Where did you get those little shaker cups?
Amazon.
Oh, awesome.
They're blender bottles. So let's see. Their blender bottle is the brand, and they come in like 2-packs, kind of fun colors. Well, this one comes in a 1-pack, but I've got like red and blue over there, and it was kind of fun. I honestly didn't make any money, but the last time I ran it last month, I didn't make any money, but I had one girl then place a Shakeology HD order, and another girl just got a challenge pack. So then I figured after that, yeah, I've made my money back. Plus I formed some great relationships. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, how do you respond? Oh, someone asked, sorry. Go for No. Yes, that's the name of the book, Go for No. It's really short. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. The audio is. Obviously, I haven't really read it, but the book itself is really short. Go for No. It's a good one. And I've done Go for No challenges with my team too, where we try to see who can get the most no's in the month. That's kind of fun. Because really, essentially, that person's going to get the most yeses in the end too, right?
Right. Yeah, I like them.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I like those challenges.
Yeah. How do you respond to people who want your help after they've ordered from Amazon or bought something from a friend without sounding like a jerk? Okay, Sherry, let's see. It depends. It depends a little bit on what my relationship with this person is. Okay, so what I always think is Melanie Mitchell joined a challenge group without Shakeology, right? So what if her coach had been like, F you, Melanie, you're not joining my challenge group without Shakeology? You know, like that would have been a terrible mistake. So she let her in, and eventually she bought Shakeology. So we've all had those great stories where someone does join with something from Amazon and ends up being an amazing success. We also have those people who are freeloaders. So I think assessing your relationship with the person is always important. You know in your heart of hearts whether or not this person is worth taking a risk on, you know. But I think it's okay to ask them, just to let them know, you know, hey, everybody else in the group is investing in Shakeology as part of the nutrition plan, and I would really love it if you could give it a try. And if nothing else, get them to get the sampler pack at $35 and let them in the group for free. You know, I just try to phrase it in a way that you know that they're going to have the best results if they do it that way. So I try to phrase it in that way. I don't know actually how you feel about letting people in with free product. It's always tough.
It is tough. A long time ago, I used to say, absolutely not, don't work for free. Mm-hmm. But I've kind of changed in the way, just because obviously, I mean, the more we hear like Carl Deichler talk about it, obviously we want to help everyone. And, you know, I've had people where they have come off Amazon and now they're like an amazing coach of mine or an amazing challenger of mine. So you never know, and you do want to help everyone, but there is a fine line to it. Obviously, you don't want to keep, like what I do is I don't put them in my 30-day paid groups. I put them either in my lifetime accountability group or my free groups. So they're getting something.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're going to be interested in, I usually put them, I probably have one person in every paid group who's in there without buying the whole challenge pack. and I just want to make that call.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in my gut usually tells me right, you know? But yes, you can definitely put them in a different kind of group. I mean, they technically are free, right, to you.
Yeah, and at least you're providing something.
Right. And I usually I use that term, I'm asking my challengers to invest in the Shakeology as part of their nutrition plan, because I believe they'll get the best results, or I know they'll get the best results. Or I'm asking my challengers to invest in me as their coach. And I think that's okay to say, especially if someone's done it to you multiple times. We all know those people. So.
Yeah, and if you talk about it with value, then, you know, that's the most important thing too.
And sometimes people really don't understand how it works. Like, they really don't get, like, if they got it off Amazon, that why they can't just be in your group, and you don't want to be a jerk. But it's okay to ask them to try Shakeology too, if they want to be in the paid group. Just the 7 days. Then they're under you as their coach too, so that's good.
Very true.
Any other questions, guys? I know it's late. Sorry, Ashley. I don't want to keep you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I know normally our calls are 8:30, but with my son's football, everyone has their kids in sports right now. So.
Oh no, it's fine.
Anyone else have any last minute questions at all for Jessica? No?
I have one.
Yeah.
Real quick. How did you find your success partner?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
so I don't know who I'm talking to here, but
Emily.
It's Emily.
Hi, Emily. I tried on a lot of people for size. I tried on a lot of people for size, and I've worked with quite a few people over the past 4 years, and some people have kind of come and gone, but I've been working pretty consistently with the same gal for a while, and she's a personally sponsored coach of my upline too, and we did enough. I don't know how I think we got assigned maybe at some point for some sort of like push group, and then we just stuck with each other. But ask around if there's somebody who kind of scares you a little bit, who you feel like, I feel like someone who's always going to be pushing you just a little bit out of your comfort zone, who's got the same business goals as you and is maybe kind of in the same place as you, is a good person. It can't hurt to ask. It can't hurt to ask your upline if they know of anybody looking. Just don't expect her to pair you up with someone. But yeah, that's a good question. She's another personally sponsored coach of my upline, and we just clicked. But I've worked with like 3 other people in the past 4 years, sometimes more than one at once. And you just know if someone's a good fit or not. I don't know.
It's definitely a testing game. I've also had a couple too. And now the one I have now, we just click and it just works well right now.
Right. And it may change in the future depending on your goals, right?
Absolutely.
So, don't be afraid to ask around, I feel like.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No? All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hopping on our call. I'm so late. Great tips. I loved them all. I can personally connect with each tip as well. And I learned, a couple things from you too as well. And congrats too.
Thank you.
So that's so awesome. So good luck with that. And thank you so much again for taking the time for our call.
Yes, guys. And don't be afraid if anything comes up. If you think of something after the call, just shoot me a message. Okay. Or have Ashley ask me, or if there's anything you want reference to, like my 7-day shake group, if you want me to, show you more of what I do, whatever. So it's really nice to chat with you guys. Thank you. I feel so honored to be here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for hopping on.
Have a good night.
Night, guys.